Hey everybody, I'm Casey Ferris. I make videos on DaVinci Resolve here on YouTube. Today we're going to go over a little bit of a different thing. We're going to look at the actual color workflow for a real project that I'm working on over here at the cabin, at the studio, over at the ranch, and you get to sit alongside while we work through a real project. I think that would be fun. Let's do it. By the way, if you want to learn more about how DaVinci Resolve works and kind of everything from the beginning to the end, I have a masterclass. It's available right up there. Click on this little card thing right there, and you can get a convenient link to learn all about how Resolve works so that you can make amazing videos. Oh boy. But let's jump into the workflow overview. So here I have an edit that's been put together with a lot of stock footage. This is for a nonprofit that I work for called Heart Support. We talk to people about mental health things, and this is kind of a new promo thing that we're doing. And I have all of this stock footage, and it's all shot on different cameras. It's all different lighting. It's everything. So how do we make this kind of feel like a cohesive project using color correction? I'm just going to kind of walk you through my workflow and my thoughts as I actually work through this project in real time. I hope it is helpful. So I'm going to go into the color page. And if you're not familiar with color correction and how the color page works and everything, check out this video right here, because that will help you with all the things. And the first thing I'm going to do is bring up my scopes, and I'm going to make sure every shot by itself looks pretty good. At least kind of feels like it can be in the same ballpark. None of them are way too dark or way too bright. Some of these are going to be a little bit brighter, but like this one, even though it's kind of nighttime, just really looks a lot darker. I can probably boost up some of that just so it kind of mixes with the other stuff a little better. I'm just going through and looking for big problems. This one's just a little bit contrasty, so I'll bring it down a little bit, push up the midtones. This is really kind of log looking, so I'll push down the lift, push up the gain, push up the gamma, push up the saturation, kind of just make it seem like it's not weird to look at that, right? Even if it doesn't quite match with everything else, it's okay. This is also kind of like pinkish, which I'll take out of the gamma and just bring it a little bit colder. Something like that. Here, this is a very, very dark clip, so we'll push the gain up a lot. It depends on the kind of footage you have. Depends on if you can actually do that or not, or if it's going to look terrible. But usually you can boost it a little bit, add a little bit of curve, and then it's at least just a little nicer. Something like that. Maybe desaturate this just a touch. This was before, and this is after. Just kind of fixing the major problems here. This is cool. I feel like it's a little dark. Again, we'll boost up the gain a little bit, boost up the gamma. There. So it's just kind of mixes with other stuff, and I'm just kind of switching in between everything, fixing big problems here. This is really dark too. Boost up. I can blow out those windows a little bit, boost up the gamma a little bit. Just making sure that this is basically decent looking. And everything else is looking pretty good. This one has a big flare. I don't want to color correct while the flare is happening unless it goes over the entire footage. I want to find when the flare is not there and make sure that that looks nice. Maybe boost a little bit more saturation. Okay. Then we have this water, which is a little overexposed, but there's not a lot you can do about it. It's okay. Also feel like it's a little bit blue, so let's just balance that out a little. Balance out the lift. Okay, so now I've just gone through and pretty much made everything not offensively terrible. And then I'm just gonna work through again and kind of fix any other big problems I see. Just looking at these thumbnails, everything looks okay. Another way you can check this is if you go up to the upper right-hand corner, click on Lightbox. Lightbox will show all of your footage in thumbnail view so you can kind of see it all side by side, something like this. I'm going to click on any of these shots and then go down to Update All Thumbnails. Make sure everything is what I'm looking for here. And if everything kind of feels normal, there's nothing that just feels super weird. This one still feels a little dark, but there's not a lot we can do about that. That's just a darker shot. That's a pretty good starting point. So A cheap and easy way to make everything kind of look like it belongs together is just to put a common look over everything. This video would be totally fine to render this way. There's no huge problems, and a lot of these shots aren't going to match perfectly just because they're really, really different shots, right? You could go through and probably make them a little better. Like you could warm up this shot, let's say. You'd probably warm this up and make it feel like it's a little bit more kind of the same world as this shot. But for the most part, when you're on a deadline, you're wanting to get a video out, you might not worry about those details so much. If this were a commercial or a short film or something, you'd probably be a little bit more worried about it. But kind of this documentary kind of promo video, not as important. So what I'm going to do is just add kind of this warm sort of hipster look. That's kind of goes along with the branding of the organization. I'm going to add that over everything. I'll go down to the edit page and hit Shift Z to zoom all the way out. And we're going to add a title at the end here, but I'm going to delete it for now. And I'll go up to the effects library, and that'll appear here down in the lower left when my media pool is open. And I'll go down to effects and grab adjustment clip. And let's drag this over our clips on the timeline. And I'll just close our media pool and effects library. And I'm going to trim the adjustment clip to be over everything. So anything that we do to this adjustment clip is going to happen to all the clips under it, which is perfect for having just a look over everything. So from here, I'll go into the color page, and with the adjustment clip selected, I'm going to kind of scroll through here and try and find a shot that I really like. I don't know, something has some common colors in it that a lot of other shots have. Maybe it's the nicest looking shot. I'm thinking something like this maybe to start out with. And I'm just going to do a really basic look. So I'll do a little S curve here, and I'll warm up the gamma a little bit. I'll maybe desaturate this just a touch and boost up the lift a little bit. This is going to kind of give us a little bit more of a hipster look that isn't too strong, but it kind of starts to tie everything together because everything kind of has that warm lifted shadows look. And here's without it. Here's with it. It's just very, very subtle over everything. Just kind of takes away some of the coldness in some of the colder shots, boosts some of the warmth in the warmer shots, makes you feel good. So it's very subtle, and I think we might call it good there. The other thing I might do on this adjustment clip is add some film grain. I'll hit Alt-S to add a serial node, and I'm going to drop an open effect on there. Under Resolve Effects, Texture, I'm going to grab film grain. I don't remember if this is in the paid version or the free version, but man, it is really handy. If anybody knows, feel free to mention in the comments whether this comes with the free or paid version, because I don't remember right now. Film grain also kind of ties together footage that might be shot on different cameras. It kind of all has that same looking grain. Might just boost this just a little more. You could definitely overdo the film grain, and I probably have a tendency to do that from time to time. But I like it, all right? If you like it, it's okay. It's okay if you like things. We could probably go crazier and try and match all the shots together perfectly, but honestly, the amount of work it would take to make this 10% better is a lot more than 10% of our time. So we're gonna call it good and probably watch through this one more time and fix any other little problems, but for the most part, we're just gonna call this good.
2020 changed us. Around the world, we've seen how moments build momentum. Some moments have influenced the momentum of positive change. Others have created a spike in mental health issues. Right now, the momentum is against our collective mental health. Those calls are up 1,000% to suicide hotlines. Like a snowball that's become an avalanche, many wonder, what can be done? That's why on World Mental Health Day, we're going to create a flood of moments that become a wave of change. A new veteran initiative, special streams, new technology, a Houston City initiative, and a secret project Jake Lurs has been working on. With each project, you'll have the opportunity to add your impact. As we join forces, we can shift the tide. Are you ready to add your momentum?
So I hope that was helpful for you. Again, if you're unfamiliar with DaVinci Resolve, I definitely recommend our masterclass. It goes over all the ins and outs of Resolve. It's I would say if you're wanting to make some videos, that's probably a good thing to think about considering purchasing and watching. Don't just buy it, watch it, you know, because that's where wisdom comes from. It's actually looking at things. Amazing how many people buy stuff and don't watch them, including me.